Welcome back. Thank you to Anchor for sponsoring this episode.
Shout out to
If you
Anchor
like
as always.
shout out to Anchor. Without them, this podcast would not be possible. And if you are interested in getting your business or something like that, shout out on the podcast as a sponsor, be sure to reach out to us. Everything you'll need to in every way possible to contact us. Everything is in the description. Go check that out. So
You know who we don't need to give a shout out to?
we need to give a quick shout out to Eddie Rosario. But is that who you had in mind?
Shout out to Eddie Rosario.
Is that who you're thinking about, or is it something?
I was thinking we don't need to give a shout out to Liberty Media.
DFA Liberty Media.
DFA Liberty Media.
The tradition will live on until they either sell the Braves or we win the World Series. Which I don't know. Even if we win the World Series, I still think we probably say it.
It's not like they did anything to help us.
I mean,
They cut the budget in half. So.
Just imagine if the offseason spending that we had this past offseason wasn't split in half, and we had been able to go out and get who are the notable free agents from last offseason?
Marcus Semien. I don't know who was that.
Oh, Marcus. Oh, I mean, maybe put Semien at second, move Ozzy to short, Dansby to third, Austin Riley to left. Maybe. I mean,
that sounds pretty confusing.
But it's Marcus Semien who freaking
and move
or that too. I don't know. Can Semien play third?
Who cares?
Probably. I don't know. That could have been crazy. I mean, Semien was a freaking monster this year.
Yeah.
His stats were pretty freaking amazing. I mean, but either way, just imagine if we had gone out and gotten this huge superstar player. Imagine where this team would be. Imagine where this team would be with Acuna, but without Acuna going down, I don't know if we, have gotten Soler and Rosario and all that.
There's a lot of what ifs. If Acuna doesn't get hurt, we probably don't get Jock. If we don't have Jock, we probably aren't where we are. So, there's a lot of what ifs, what could have been, whatever. But
yeah, in our last episode, we discussed basically everything there is to know about the NLCS Game 6 and the atmosphere, everything. We talked about a lot. However, one thing that we completely missed was we said that we were going to talk about Eddie Rosario a little bit later on, and we never did. So Eddie Rosario won the NLCS MVP. Which is probably the most obvious pick I've ever seen in my life. Even when they were doing the post game trophy presentation and all that, they were say we have one more trophy to hand out, and it'll be the most valuable player of the National League Championship Series. And immediately, everyone in Truist Park just started chanting Eddie. It was like everyone knew. What a series!
Yeah, there's no two ways around it. That it was he was. He's got to be. I don't know if there's a hitter on the planet hotter than him right now.
Mm-hmm.
The only other person I could think of is Yordan Alvarez, but nobody else even comes close right now to Eddie Rosario and Yordan Alvarez. Those two guys are just completely on fire.
He is one of only 5 players ever to record 14 hits in a postseason series. Don't have the other 4 players, but he's one of 3 qualified players to hit 560 or better in a series. One of only 2 to piece together multiple 4-8 games. And he became the 8th player to win LCS honors, or that championship series. Championship series MVP after a midseason trade. After Verlander did in 2017, Miller in 2016, Marco Scutaro, Cody Ross, David Justice, Mike Devereaux, I don't know if I'm saying that right, and Ricky Henderson. Quite a list there.
Yeah.
And I believe let me try to find his full line of stats this postseason. Or or these past 6 games. I don't know. You have anything to add to that?
No.
Eddie. Oh, okay.
So the dude's been breaking the whole postseason.
So he finished the series with a .560 average, a .670 on base percentage, and a 1.040 slugging. That's just, that's an impressive OPS. That's just slugging.
The guy just did it all. There's no two ways around it. He just what a series.
It was something unlike I've ever seen before. Like, I've never seen anyone get on. It's just holy crap. I've never seen anyone go off like this in a postseason series. I saw Randy Rosarino last year, but that was just consistent throughout the postseason. This was one series. I think 14 hits and I think it was 25 at bats. 14 for 25. Does that sound right? If I doing math right?
Yeah, that's right.
14 for 25 in this series. If Eddie Rosario was not on this team, if Soler didn't go down with an injury, I know Soler was doing a good job before, or not injury, with COVID, but if Jorge Soler did not go down with COVID, I really don't think the Braves would be moving on right now to the World Series.
I don't know. It's so hard to...
Dave Roberts was asked about, or after being eliminated, about Eddie Rosario, and he just said we just couldn't figure him out, and we just didn't have an answer for him. Clearly, but even Dave Roberts was just as cocky as he was heading to Atlanta. He was saying a lot of very bold stuff, and it's good to shut him up a bit.
Go look on the Instagram for that if you did see that already.
Mm-hmm. You want me to just play that video?
We should. This was actually, I sent this to you. This was posted by College Game Day.
No, was it actually?
Yeah, this is posted by.
Okay, I don't have the. So what I have saved in my camera roll is just a very.
I got you. I got
it. You got it, or are you going to play it, or?
I'll just play right here. Ready?
I'm on my way right now to Atlanta to beat the Braves on our way to the World Series. I'm on my...
Wait, I thought he said something more after that.
He might have, but I don't have the full clip. It here actually. I think.
Oh wait.
Here, I'll pull up the full clip.
Okay, I have the full video. Okay. Let me just make sure my microphone setting isn't to the point where you can't understand what the word he's saying. Okay. So here's what Dave Roberts had to say when he was boarding the plane to come to Atlanta. Even though he was down 3-2 in the series, heading to one of the toughest environments to play in baseball. This is what Dave Roberts had to say.
Oh, wait, okay. Hey, Wilson Plaza. Everybody's got to be there. I'm on my way right now to Atlanta to beat the Braves on our way to the World Series. But hey, we need all you UCLA football fans at Wilson Plaza. Game day is finally at UCLA. UCLA, Oregon, 4's up. Let's go.
Okay. I don't care about the rest of that. But just that one statement. That was kind of a waste of time just to play the rest of that. But I thought he said something else in that. But boy, Dave.
Hey,
at least he has confidence in his team.
Yeah, you can't just say. You can't not have confidence in your team, but he could have just said we're on our way to Atlanta. You didn't have to.
We're on our way to Atlanta to try and advance to the World Series.
We're on our way to Atlanta to lose in Game 6 to Ion Anderson and Tyler Matzik. Should have said that.
Honestly, John Boy, I think John Boy Media has created a tradition for us too, saying Ion Anderson.
Yeah,
I don't know. We're going to embrace it. We're not trying to be John Boy Media. That would be awesome if we could join John Boy Media, but like, you know,
Jake, DM us. Trev, DM us.
Kelsey, Peter.
Freaking John Boy's real name.
Jimmy.
But Jimmy, there it is. I don't know why it was blanking on me. Jimmy, slide in the DMs. Let us know what's up.
It's all in the description. If you're here,
we already got the name. We already got the name.
So let me pull up the Astros playoff roster real quick, and we'll give a quick position by position rundown to see who has the advantage at each position, and we'll go from there. Which I don't know if the Astros playoff or like World Series roster is 100% set right now.
I really hope that they take a few guys off our roster. I mean, specifically,
Camargo has been a waste.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Talking about Johan Camargo.
Honestly, I was kind of thinking about, guys who have maybe had experience like this in the past, and I completely forgot that Jason Kipnis was a freaking Brave.
Really? Did you see that tweet earlier?
No, but did it involve Jason Kipnis or? I
don't follow Jason Kipnis. It just popped up my Twitter feed though. Just talking about the Braves going to the World Series, and I was like, oh, he was in AAA all year, so it's like, I'll pull up the tweet. He said,
so
these guys here, I'll just read the tweet. These guys had unfinished business, and that was evident from the first day. I showed up to spring this year. Hats off to the Braves. Great guys to play with and root for. Now finish it off. So shout out to Jason Kipnis.
Shout out to Jason Kipnis. I mean, honestly, I would. That's kind of a sleeper pick. I would like to see him on the World Series roster because he was in this situation in 2016 against the Cubs. Back when he was with the Cleveland Indians. So
I mean, I think there's really no, in my opinion, Johan Camargo and Orlando Arcia serve no purpose on the roster right now.
They really don't. That's fair to say.
I think I think that's fair to say because I mean, realistically, we're gonna have a DH in 4 of the games anyways. So, I mean, you look at it that way. You'll obviously Guillermo Heredia will be on the roster.
I mean, you gotta have that energy in the dugout.
Ray Andrianza will be your main bench piece, for in Houston, and then when you come home, you're obviously gonna have either Jorge or Jock or whoever on the bench for one of those outfield spots. So, I mean, I like the idea of like you said, Jason Kipnis or
give me Kazmar.
Kazmar?
Imagine.
What about Chadwick Trump?
Ooh. No. No, we don't need another catcher. I have confidence. I have faith in William, and Contreras hasn't even gotten that much playing time anyway, so plus it's either
Darren Score, GOAT. Darren Score hits a walk-off, or it'd have to be in the first game 3, 4, 5, but Terrence Score hits a walk-off homer. Imagine.
So let's just start off with starting pitching for both sides. For the Braves, obviously headlined by Charlie Morton and Max Fried, Ion Anderson, who's been great as well. I doubt we're going to see anyone else really start a game. I mean, outside of those 3, I expect some bullpen games here and there. Jesse Chavez has done a good job. Start AJ Minter for all I care. Maybe Smiley. I mean, he did a fantastic job in game 5. I mean, no one really expected Drew Smiley to have big impact, but he ate up some big innings for us and did a great job. I mean, I know he worked in a little bit of trouble, in his final inning, but the 3 innings before were fantastic. So, Drew Smiley did a fantastic job, eating up some innings and saving our bullpen for sure. I wouldn't mind seeing Drew Smiley getting a start. I mean, obviously, not expecting Drew Smiley to go out there and pitch 8 innings, but at least like 3 or 4 innings, I think he's definitely capable of that. I don't really. I mean, ever since he came back from that broken hand, I don't know how to feel about him.
He's also not. He's out for the year.
Oh, it's true. I forgot about that.
He's not.
We didn't even discuss that last episode either. I kind of forgot about that like altogether. So is out of the question, which I completely forgot about. I'm sorry. And then that's about it, I guess. Now that is gone, so just Smiley, I guess. Right? I mean, but I think like, but as in terms of the Astros, their big guys are Luis Garcia, who just came out of nowhere this year and had a fantastic season. The thing is, I don't really follow the Astros too closely.
Framber Valdez it's Valdez and Morton for game 1. Framber Valdez has been very solid. Yeah, he's their number 1 guy.
I think it would be 2. But it would be Lance McCullers.
It was announced. Yeah, it was announced. I think Morosi tweeted out an hour ago that Lance McCullers is officially, he's not going to be on the roster, from what I'm hearing and seeing. So,
wow. I mean, I saw something from like 7 hours ago that he was like iffy for the roster.
Yeah, but I think it was I think Morosi tweeted out that, or I don't know if it was Morosi, maybe it was Heyman. Somebody I think tweeted out that he's pretty much, it's very, maybe like a 1% chance he's on the roster. So,
so here's something that a stat that really surprises me right here, that the Astros starting pitching, they have only averaged 3 innings per game this postseason.
I mean, outside of that game 6, I mean, the starters for both of those teams in the Red Sox Astros series was non-existent. I mean, in the first game, Sale and I think it was was it Valdez, or I don't know who pitched game 1, but neither of them got out of the 3rd inning. So, I mean, I was like, I mean, that's what good offenses do sometimes, but I mean, I really do like how our starting pitching especially matches up against theirs, especially without Lance McCullers. So, I mean, I really do believe.
Yeah, McCullers would be a huge blow for the Astros.
Yeah.
So Braves or the Astros starting pitching, they've had a 5.92 ERA so far in the postseason, while the 5.92, so basically almost 6. Braves starting pitching staff, 3.27 ERA. I mean, 2 completely different. I mean, it amazes me how the Astros starting pitching can struggle that much, and they've made it to the World Series. But that's amazing in itself. But their offense has really carried them throughout these playoffs, and our pitching has been very, very good. And it's gotten so much better later in the season, especially in the postseason. And honestly, I feel like, our pitching is definitely capable of, neutralizing the Astros offense.
Yeah. I think especially when Max Fried, he didn't look, he looked good, decent in the first game against LA, struggled in game 5, but I think Max Fried, when he's on, has a chance to shut out any lineup, especially, Yordan Alvarez is really good, but obviously you got a lefty on the mound with Fried, 2 righties with Ion and Charlie. So, I think it's definitely, there's no doubt you're not going to just shut this team out. They're going to get their hits. They're going to put up runs, but,
I think Especially, I mean, I think even with McCullers, I would say the Braves pitching staff has the advantage. But now that McCullers, I mean, it's not 100% official yet, right? The McCullers is off the roster.
It's not.
So it's not 100%.
It's not 100% official. I don't know when they release the rosters, but
So I mean,
I don't know yet though.
So I mean, especially like starting pitching, I would say the Braves have the advantage. Their top three is just fantastic. If Ian Anderson can keep his pitch count down and avoid the walks, he is a fantastic pitcher. If that changeup is working, he's almost unhittable, and it's pretty crazy to see. And they also have Zach Grinky, who is a future Hall of Famer, but he's kind of had a not. I mean, he's had a good season, but like not a Grinky like season. He's not the same pitcher that he was, let's say like 5 years ago. But he is still a good pitcher, and he's definitely a candidate to start. Jake Odorizzi, another guy who's really underrated in my opinion. But
I really honestly forgot about Jake Odorizzi until like
I just said it, right?
Well, not well until he came in game. I don't know what game he came into. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot they signed Jake Odorizzi.
Yeah, I mean,
he was hurt for a while, so I was like,
and Jose Urquidy as well
fizzled out, but then yeah,
and Jose Urquidy as well, and he got rocked. So I mean, Astros pitching rotation is just it's okay, but without Lance McCullers, like I would. Even though, I still don't know how to feel about Luis Garcia. I don't really see him as, he's had a good season this year.
He's very night and day. I mean, he could be really good one start, and he could be not so good the next start. So
he has ace potential, but I really don't
agree.
See him.
He definitely has the potential to go like he did yesterday, or no, was that Friday, to go 8 innings and shut a team out, but I think he also has the capability of going 2 innings and getting shelled. So it's all about what Luis Garcia shows up that game, I guess.
So I hope that like we're trying not to be biased when we're saying the Braves have an advantage or Astros have a disadvantage. We want this to be as like unbiased as possible, but I still think the top three in the Braves rotation gives them an advantage here. And I think from the bullpen games I can remember, I think we had 5 bullpen games this year, and I believe we were 4-1. And that includes the postseason. That includes the game 4, I believe, or the championship series. And I think, bullpen games, obviously if one guy has a bad outing, it could completely turn the game upside down, but it also makes it tough on an offense because you aren't going to face the same pitcher twice, most likely. So that's why I would be that's why I would be in support of Drew Smiley, eating like 4 or 5 innings. I don't think maybe just 3 innings would be fine for Drew Smiley, but I wouldn't mind seeing him start a postseason game or for a bullpen game, honestly.
Especially if Smiley starts at home, I think it.
Oh yeah.
You probably I would assume would start game 4 if he does start. So I think that sets up for you to, have him at home instead of being in front of that Houston crowd that obviously is going to be very loud and the World Series and. So. Mm-hmm.
So as for the Astros bullpen, they got some good arms in the bullpen. And if you look at the regular season stats between Astros relievers and Braves relievers, and even in the postseason, they've been almost neck and neck. So bullpens are very evenly matched. Obviously,
I really can't decide. I mean, I think like you said, I don't think you can really give an advantage to either bullpen. I think both bullpens have been outstanding, especially in the playoffs. I mean, there's a reason your bullpen determines how far you're going to go in the Worlds or go far you're going to go in the postseason. And obviously these two teams are in the World Series and majority of the time you don't go to the World Series if you don't have a good bullpen. So, I mean, these guys, I mean, they got some lockdown guys. Obviously, they traded for Graveman. They have Presley, I believe, who is their closer.
And they went out and got Yimi Garcia from the
Yimi
Marlins as well.
You know,
Ryan Stanek.
Stanek's been solid. I believe Christian Javier, he's been in there doing pretty well. He's kind of
he started a few games too.
Yeah, he's also a guy that's potential could be a starter. I don't know what Dusty Baker's thing is there, but he's also can give you some innings. So you know, I think these two bullpens match up pretty well. I like the Braves they're very lefty heavy with their top guys, which
and the Astros are very righty heavy. I mean, they only have two lefties in the bullpen. I mean, because Framber is one of their only left-handed starting pitcher. And their only two left-handed pitchers out of the bullpen are Blake Taylor and Brooks Raley. You know, and those are the two guys that you may be like, you know, those two guys aren't going to be like, you know, light up the stat sheet or anything, but you know, they're not, you know, Brooks Raley this season, in 58 games at ERA close to 5. So nothing like too crazy there. And he hasn't had a good postseason either. As for Blake Taylor, obviously, you know, the Braves against guys with the last name Taylor in the bullpen or in the postseason, it could go in the wrong direction. But Blake Taylor, honestly, like no one talks about Blake Taylor, but he had a pretty solid year. I mean, in 51 outings, a 3.16 ERA. In the postseason, 10 games, 8.1 innings, only 1 earned run. For a 1.08 ERA so far in the postseason. Yeah, he's been one of the Astros' best relievers, if not the best Astros reliever. So keep an eye out for Blake Taylor. He's probably their go-to left-handed arm out of the bullpen. At least he should be. So,
I mean, I don't think like I said, I think it's pretty even. I think you know, I think both bullpens will be really good. I don't think I think it's going to come down to a few mistakes here and there, and you know that'll be that.
So yeah, I overall with pitching, I would say the Braves have the advantage, especially with the top three in that rotation and the success we've had in the bullpen games. And the thing is, I mean, Odorizzi, Valdez is going to be starting game 1. Grinky, Luis Garcia, and no McCullers. No McCullers is kind of like that's kind of the wild card here. Like that's the deciding factor, honestly. I
think if they have McCullers, I think that really changes the dynamic. Excuse me, because you are going to have Fromber game 1, and then depending on when they want to pitch, if he is on the roster, McCullers. And then, you know, you got Luis Garcia. So I think it's interesting. I think it gives them a whole different dynamic because of how good Lance McCullers has proven to be in the playoffs and proven to be really this year. He's been their ace. So.
And also another guy for the Astros bullpen, Phil Maton, or as I say it, or Maton. I don't know how you say it. Maton. He's been very good in the postseason so far. In 9 games, 10 innings, 2 earned runs. He's not going to strike out. I mean, he hasn't struck out that many guys in the postseason, but only a .50 WHIP so far in the postseason. That's another guy to keep an eye out for. I mean, not obviously, you know, Phil Maton is not like a big name guy that you're just like, oh crap, we're facing Phil Maton. He didn't even have that good of a regular season. 65 games at 4.73 ERA.
He got traded to the Astros at the deadline for
what's his name? Miles Straw, I believe. Miles Straw?
Yeah, Miles Straw. Yeah, it was Miles Straw. So yeah, I mean he's worked out pretty well for them. So you know.
I think it was the Miles Straw trade. Yeah, okay.
Was
so he didn't have the best season of a 4.73 ERA here in the regular season, but he's really turned it around and he's had a fantastic postseason so far. We'll see if that keeps up. But I have faith in the Braves bullpen. Will Smith closing it out for the Braves been fantastic this postseason and was great down the stretch in the regular season as well. Of course, our boy Tyler Matzik was just legend, best reliever in baseball. Luke Jackson is kind of like, he was great up until the Dodgers just kind of like figured him out. It'll be interesting to see whether he's on the Braves roster. Neither roster is fully set yet, so there might be a couple guys here and there that get added. But and then AJ Minter has just been phenomenal. I wouldn't mind seeing AJ Minter be that seventh inning guy rather than Luke Jackson, but I think especially having weapons like Minter and Matzik against the Astros, you can neutralize Yordan Alvarez with lefty-lefty matchups a little bit. Michael Brantley, not so much because he's such a professional hitter, but they're also pretty right-handed heavy. Altuve, Gurriel, Correa, Bregman. They're pretty right-handed heavy. But we saw what Matzik did against the Dodgers in Game 6. He was facing. I do
like, especially with how good their left-handed hitters are in Michael Brantley, Yordan Alvarez, and Kyle Tucker.
Oh yeah, I forgot about. I always forget about Kyle Tucker.
Kyle Tucker, he might be having one of the better. He might be. Him and Yordan Alvarez have really led that offensive charge for the Astros.
Yeah.
And also I want to say Kyle Tucker leads the postseason RBIs so far coming into the World Series. So he's been really good.
I always forget. I always forget about Kyle Tucker. I sincerely apologize to Kyle Tucker because he's one of the few Astros we can root for. But I mean, for some reason, I know he's like a fantastic player. I just always forget about him. Because I always think about that infield with, all the cheaters. And then I think about the outfield and, like Brantley and, I still think about Josh Reddick, even though he's not even he hasn't been with the team since last year, I guess. I still think about Josh Reddick in that outfield and George Springer, of course. But they're gone. They're all gone too. Yeah. But Kyle Tucker's really taken over. And something I really want to keep an eye out for as well, when the series comes to Atlanta, I guess Yordan's going to have to be in the field too. I want to see how.
I feel like you can't really leave him out of the lineup.
You can't. Absolutely not. It'll be interesting to see how he does in the field.
They might. If they're going to put him in the outfield, or I don't know.
It'll be interesting to see because I have never seen Yordan Alvarez field. I don't want.
I've never seen him field either.
It'll be interesting, but at the same time, Braves went out and got Jorge Soler and Eddie Rosario at the deadline, two guys that are complete defensive liabilities, and even with Marcell Ozuna, he was a defensive liability too. That trio kind of worked out. Given Marcell Ozuna, we didn't have him for most of the year, and I won't get into that, but it worked out. Rosario's made some good plays out there in left field. He made a fantastic running catch early in, was it against the Brewers or Dodgers? I can't remember, but he made a fantastic running catch on a full sprint in one of these games. It was early in a game.
Yeah.
That saved it. Oh no, it was against Dodgers because I remember Trey Turner was on first. Or I think Trey Turner was the one who hit it. Honestly, if knowing how fast Turner is, that could have been an inside park homer if that got by Rosario. But Rosario is still a defensive liability. He's made a few costly errors out there, but not in the postseason. He makes up
for it a little bit, just a little bit.
But so let's just go around the diamond. Catchers. For the
if I'm being Astros, I don't know. I feel like just due to the fact that Travis has not really been that good. He can't throw a run out to save his life, and he has not really hit very well. Simply just due to the fact that how good behind the plate Martin Maldonado is. He's not a good hitter, but I mean, me personally, I think I'm going to give the advantage just due to the catching abilities. I'll give it to Martin Maldonado. So, what do you think?
I mean, honestly, I think Jason Castro is the backup too. Like Jason Castro is a very, very good catcher.
I
honestly,
didn't even realize he was back in Houston until I mean, I knew I don't know. I didn't realize he was back in Houston though. When he had that good head hit in whatever game 5, game 4, I don't know, something like that.
Not too sure. It was after the blown call by Laz Diaz, but
yeah, yep.
But yeah, I think Jason Castro honestly could be a starting catcher for a lot of teams. But I don't know, like Darno, if he gets going, I think the Braves have the advantage. But I'd say right now, Martin Maldonado is a fantastic defensive catcher, great pitch caller as well.
I think the one thing we're gonna need to keep an eye on with Travis d'Arnaud is how much. I don't know how much the Astros run, but Travis hasn't thrown out I think they were perfect, like 9 of 9.
9 for 9 or something like that. Yeah,
something ridiculous like against Travis, and some of them weren't even competitive. I mean, they weren't even really close. So I think that'll be something to keep an eye on. Obviously, Altuve is a big time threat to steal.
Not as good as he used to be, but he's still. I mean, he can still steal.
That's not as good as he used to be, but he's still good. He's still a threat to run. Not sure. I mean, I don't know how big of a threat to run anybody else is. I don't know if Chas McCormick is a big threat to run, who their center fielder is. So I think it'll be interesting.
So around the infield, you got first base is just loaded. Yuli Gurriel with a batting title at like age, 37, 38, whatever, however old he is. Yeah. And then Freddie Freeman, advantage Braves, 100%. But Yuli Gurriel is very, very good.
Yeah,
I mean, Freddie Freeman is the best first baseman in baseball. If you disagree, click off the podcast now. But
talk to a wall.
But Freddie Freeman defensively, offensively, just fantastic. I mean, I know he went into a bit of a slump in game 1 and 2 of the championship series, but he bounced back with 3 hits in game 3. Including a homer. So, I mean, it's actually, no, I don't think he homered in game 3, actually, but he did have 3 hits. It'll be interesting, but I think Gurriel's going to be a very tough out. He's going to be a big threat for the Braves pitching to keep an eye out for. I mean, he's just such a professional hitter. But so is Freddie Freeman. So, I mean, I still would give the advantage to the Atlanta Braves, but I mean, you got to give Gurriel credit. He's a cheater, but he's a good hitter.
Yeah, keep an eye on him.
And then second base, Altuve versus Albies. Now, this one is an interesting one, honestly.
Two shortest second basemen in the league. Well, maybe Tony.
I mean, so this one, who's better, Altuve or Albies? It's kind of close.
I think it's closer than I think people. I think you got to give the edge just a little bit to Altuve, but I do think it's. I agree. I agree, but I do think it's a lot closer than people really think. Like, I think people are going to be like, "Oh yeah, Altuve," but I think it's a lot closer than people really think.
Altuve really tore it up this year.
He's really been good. I mean, yeah, Altuve was, he's Altuve. There's a reason he's, cheating and all. He still was a really good hitter before 2017, and
he sucked in 2020.
He was awful. He sucked. He sucked last year. There's no two ways around it. But
he bounced back this year.
He in a big way.
He wasn't that high average guy that you saw, like hitting 330, 340. He wasn't that guy this year. His average was still down a little bit, 278, which still isn't bad. An 839 OPS this year. He was an all-star. 31 homers from a guy who's, 5'6"? I mean, what? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. But Altuve tied his career high that he set in 2019 with 31 homers. And, it's pretty honestly, like Albies is such a good all around player. His defense is one of the best. Altuve is, obviously we've seen the memes. His throws can just go to the freaking second deck, but defensively, Albies is better in my opinion. But it's tough. I think one thing that really sets apart Altuve versus Albies is the plate discipline.
That is very true.
Ozzy is one of the worst guys when it comes to plate discipline. I mean, he can't lay off a high fastball to save his life. Ozzy, I love you, but like you gotta lay off that stuff. I mean, it's pretty bad. Like that's his biggest downfall is swinging at pitches that aren't even close. But I'll give him credit. Like when he does swing, he oftentimes makes contact, and most of the time it's a foul ball. But he fouls off more pitches than I think I've ever seen anyone ever. But like literally, like he hits at least like 2 or 3 foul balls over the net behind home plate every game, at least. You like at least once every at bat too, unless he like it's hit and play like first 1 or 2 pitches. But I mean, I'd like to see his plate discipline improve a bit, especially since he's so short. His smaller strike zone, But I mean, he's still a very exciting player to watch, and he's stolen a few bases this postseason. It's good to see that we're being aggressive on the base pass as well. Ozzy's picked up a few steals, and his defense is phenomenal as well. Just hasn't been too much of a factor this postseason, though, which is kind of surprising out of the 3-hole.
I know.
But honestly, right now, I'd have to give the slight advantage to the Astros and Altuve at second base right now, even though I love Ozzy. I love you, Ozzy, but slight advantage to Altuve in this one. So now shortstop, this one is not even. It's not close.
As much as we love Dansby, this isn't even close. This isn't really is.
Correa is a top 3 shortstop in the game of baseball right now. Possibly the best. And
I think that's a legit argument that he's the best. I
think.
And he's gonna get paid this.
He's gonna get paid. He's gonna get paid this offseason, and we'll definitely keep you updated on all the free agency stuff going on. But Correa is just an all around fantastic player. 26 homers this year, 92 RBIs, 279 average, and 850 OPS. And this guy hits in the clutch like crazy. Like this guy basically turns into Eddie Rosario in the postseason.
He was built for postseason baseball. There's no doubt about that.
Defensively, he's not a Gold Glove caliber player, but he's solid defensively.
He's not a liability. He's very sound defensively over there. I think you give the edge defensively to Dansby Swanson for sure, but all around, I think obviously Carlos Correa is a top 3 shortstop in baseball. So I mean, you can't really argue with that. So
Yep. I mean, so far in the infield advantage, Astros to this point, but we haven't talked about third base yet. But Correa, like him or not, which for me, I don't like him.
I hate him.
Personality wise, he is probably like the lowest of the low. Like in terms of likability, like this guy is just. I can't stand the guy, but I gotta give him credit. He's a great ball player. So, and what did Nick Markakis say when the Astros cheated? I have that screenshot. I think I sent it to you.
I don't remember.
I don't know. I just want to. What did Nick Markakis say? Nick Markakis on Astros. I feel like every single guy over there needs a beating. Facts. Preach it, Nick. But anyways, I don't know why I thought of that, but. So moving on to third base, Alex Bregman for the Astros and Austin Riley for the Braves. Now, seasons past, this would be Bregman. This year, Alex Bregman took a step back. Austin Riley took a huge step forward.
I think this is Austin, and I know this might be controversial, but I really don't think it's close. I genuinely don't think it's even close. I think Austin Riley's right now, he's miles ahead of Alex Bregman in that department. I think his defense has become really solid, and he's obviously shown this postseason that he's a really clutch hitter and he's a really good hitter. So I think it's Austin, and I don't really think it's close. So,
I mean, Austin Riley's defense is fantastic as well. I mean, honestly, like, I didn't expect that Austin Riley would be a Gold Glove caliber player when he came up. I thought that power was just like gonna carry him and allow him to start every day. Yep. But that glove has turned into something special, and like, Braves have a very, very big talent in Austin Riley, and gotta embrace Austin Riley right now, because he's just like on another planet right now. Yeah, but I will give Alex Bregman a little bit of credit. He's still a walk machine. He walks a ton. Austin Riley, although his strikeout numbers went down this year, still sometimes struggles with laying off those off-speed pitches low and away. So Alex Bregman does have an advantage when it comes to like plate discipline and all that. Led the American League in walks, and actually, no, he led all of major leagues in 2019 with 119 walks. Sounds fishy. Maybe he knew it was coming, but he led the majors in walks. So, but Austin Riley took a huge step up. He's not striking out as much as he was, and he's. I mean, there's a reason why Joyce Park chants MVP when he comes to the plate. I mean, it's advantage Austin Riley here. I mean, in my opinion, it's not close. Yeah, but I mean, I'm not going to take away from Alex Bregman. I know he was kind of hurt this year. I believe he missed a lot of time because he was hurt. But I mean, he still appeared in 91 games, a 777 OPS. I mean, last two seasons combined. Let me pull up those combined stats for the last 2 years.
And Bregman also is a guy that can take off at any point. So
yeah,
I wouldn't put it past. I wouldn't put it past him. I mean, obviously he's still a threat at the plate. There's no doubt about that. You can't just be like, oh, it's Alex Bregman. He's a legit hitter, and he always has been a legit hitter. So, you know, but I think advantage Riley, in my opinion. So
yeah, we'll see what happens. But Alex Bregman, past 2 years, 133 combined games between the two, so that's kind of almost a full year, maybe with its few trips to the IL. But a 785 OPS, a 114 OPS plus is still above average in terms of hitting. But you know, only 18 homers, 77 RBIs. Just nothing to really wow you there. You know, Austin Riley this year wowed a lot of people. So I'd say, and especially the defense, Austin Riley has the advantage here. Yep. So the infields for both teams are pretty even, in my opinion. So we'll see if Dansby can get going a bit, though, and Ozzy as well. They'll be interesting to see if they can get going a bit. So moving on to the outfield, we don't have to necessarily combine left field, center field, right field, because obviously with a DH here and there, you know, where we don't really necessarily know where these guys are going to be playing. So, like, you know, when the Braves are in Houston, is it going to be Rosario as the DH, or is it going to be Soler? We don't know.
These outfields for both teams, it's just straight hitters. I mean, straight up. I mean, nobody's going to wow you defensively. I mean, Brantley's been, you know, he's been always been solid, but nothing special. He's just a legit.
That bat is just so. He's such a professional hitter.
He's so consistent. I mean, he's basically, you know, like people say, Nick Marquez is a professional hitter, and Michael Brantley's the exact same way. He's always going to give you an at bat. And then center field, I've never really watched a lot of Chas McCormick. I don't know how good defensively he is, so I can't really, you know, say much on that specifically. And then Kyle Tucker and right, you know, he's there for his bat. He's not going to wow you defensively. He might be. I think he's pretty solid. I don't think he's a liability, but you know, he's there to crush baseballs, which he's probably going to do against us a time or two. Hopefully not, but I mean, he's probably going to do it. So, and then on the flip side, I think, you know, you got Eddie Rosario, who's on a whole different planet right now. I don't know. Is he better than Brantley? I mean, in the overall scheme of things, no. But right now, Eddie Rosario is the hottest hitter on the planet. So what is the, where's the boundary? And then center field, Duvall. I think Duvall has I don't know much about Chas McCormick as it says, but
Chas McCormick this year, if you want to know his quick stats, just off Baseball Reference. So the strikeouts are a bit of an issue with him. 104 strikeouts and only 284 at bats this year. So striking out in close to 45% of his play appearances.
Yep.
Or his at bats, does not walk much, only 25 walks. 14 homers, 50 RBIs. Don't really know how good his glove is. Let's see. So I mean, he played a bit kind of in left field and right field as well. But he's definitely going to take over that center field spot for sure, most likely this postseason. Let's see. Looking for. I don't know. Is there a way to look at like advanced stats on here?
No clue.
I don't know. I mean, if he's in center field, I assume like he's probably pretty solid.
He's gotta have some. He's got to be some kind of solid. He can't just be
He just can't be a nobody. He can't be.
He's got some speed. I think he's probably got a good arm. A little bit of defense.
Only four stolen bases this year, but he's still up to 19 in the minors in a season. So I mean, not bad. Not bad at all. But Altuve, I mean, we were talking about Altuve's speed and kind of how he declined. He only had 5 stolen bases all year.
Really?
So I don't think that's going to be too much of a threat. I mean, obviously he could get a stolen base, but like,
I think it'll be interesting how much they looked at if they look at the Dodgers series, how much they think they can run on d'Arnaud. Obviously, they don't have super speedy guys on that team. Nobody's like in a.
McCormick is the one guy that
I wouldn't say anybody on that team has blazing speed, but I think it'll be interesting to see if they take advantage of Travis's his issues behind the plate. So throwing people out specifically is what I mean.
So I just realized that Astros Red Sox series was 2 of the slowest teams I've ever seen. Like
those teams were just pure offense.
Christian Vasquez, he led the Red Sox in stolen bases this year. Their catcher, and I think he stole like 8.
No, my.
I mean, imagine being on a team where your catcher leads your team in stolen bases.
Steal a base, steal a taco might be irrelevant in this series because unless Ozzy Albies steals some bags, nobody really else is going to be stealing bags. Maybe Dansby Swanson.
If he can, Terrence Gore maybe. Hey yo, or Pache, whoever Braves want to add to the roster. I mean, if we decide it, whoever we have on the roster, Gore or Pache, anyone but Camargo.
Facts. And or
I think Camargo a couple years ago had the slowest sprint speed of any third baseman.
Seriously?
Yeah, I think that was like when he was like a full-time starter too. The slowest sprint speed. And what makes it worse when you have the slowest sprint speed? When you don't even run 100%, 90% of the time.
Jogging. He's just.
The guy's jogging.
Maybe that's why maybe that's why his sprint speed's not up because he jogs.
Honestly, can someone find a clip of Yohan Camargo sprinting and send it to us? Because honestly, I can't even remember him ever sprinting.
I don't think anybody. I think that's like locked away somewhere in a file drawer. I think that's like FBI, like
it's highly classified.
Highly classified information.
Well, I think the Braves outfield defensively, they're bad, but they haven't been bad. So, I don't know exactly what to make of the Braves defensive outfield. situation?
I don't know. I think it's gonna be interesting. I don't think it'll be interesting to see how they play, especially with
Jordan.
Obviously probably Eddie and left. How he plays the Crawford boxes and that whole corner area, and then the whole. I mean, Minute Park's got some weird dimensions, so it'll be interesting to see how much of a factor that is in those games in Houston. So
bring back Tal's Hill. That'll be fun. Honestly, that was like my favorite part of that park, and now it's gone.
No,
and now it's so boring. It's so boring in center. I mean, yeah, it's stupid, but it's quirky, and I like it.
Sure,
I liked it. Whose idea was it to put a freaking hill on a baseball field?
You should just play at Polo Grounds.
Why did they tear it down? It would have been that would have been such a cool spot. Like, if I could go back and watch a game at Polo Grounds, like that was like the one stadium that I would want to go back in time and attend a game at. That's such a quirky, stupid ballpark, but it worked. I mean, it sort of worked, but it was just stupid.
Yeah.
But anyways, outfield. So, I mean, I don't know whether to count Yordan Alvarez as an outfielder, but he will be out there.
I think you just count him as a DH, and he's his own thing. I mean, he's a DH. He's not gonna. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, maybe he's definitely an outfielder because he's gonna maybe play outfield in Atlanta. So I don't know.
It'll be interesting to see also because I mean, I think in 2019 when the Astros were in the World Series, was he hurt? Wasn't he hurt? I believe.
I don't even remember.
I don't remember the 2019 World Series. I just remember celebrating when Howie Kendrick hit that homer. Because
so much has happened since the 2019 World Series, dude. I don't know.
Oh man, I just was happy that Nationals won because I was just like, yay, someone different. I think, and also a lot of baseball fans around the baseball universe, they don't like the Astros because no one likes the Astros except for Astros fans. But I think Braves are America's team right now, and it'll be a lot of fun to watch, honestly, and to see what it's like. Astros versus the world. We'll see how it goes. I mean, it's going to be an interesting series. So, game 1, Tuesday night in Houston. I know they announced the start times, but I don't know them off the top of my head. Is it 8 o'clock Eastern?
Yeah, it's 7:09 Central. So
okay, 8:09 Central start times for games 1 through 4. Or did I say 7 or 8:09?
You said 8:09 Central.
Oh, 8:09 Eastern. I'm sorry, 8:09 Eastern for the first 4 games of the series. Tuesday, Wednesday of this week, October 26th and 27th. Those will be in Houston, 8:07 or 8:09, excuse me, p.m. Eastern, and then Friday, Saturday in Atlanta. Both of those will be 8:09 Eastern, and then 8:15 on Sunday night in Atlanta as well on Halloween night. So,
that is Halloween night.
We're not going trick or treating this year, boys, fellas, girls.
Sorry, trick or treaters. I got other things. Yeah, better things to do.
Hey, turn off your lights. Go, just hang out in your basement or just away from your front door, and watch the freaking Braves. Or just get your tickets and go to the stadium, or go to the Battery and watch them.
I might possibly be at Sunday's game. I think both of us might possibly be at Sunday's game. Not confirmed.
So I'm not. This is not. It's not official for you yet, right?
No,
so it's not official for me yet, but there is a good chance that I'm going to be at one of these games. There's nothing official yet. It might turn out that I will not be at any of these games, but my brother is somehow going to try to get tickets. He knows somebody who is trying to get rid of his tickets or whatever. So, I mean, and he's going to take me along for the ride if he can get these tickets. So I don't know which day this would be, but which day I'd be able to go. But honestly, I don't care. I'm going to freaking World Series game. I mean, not officially, but if he gets his tickets, I'll be going to a freaking World Series game. Like, what? I mean, I get chills just even thinking about going to a World Series game. Like, what? In Atlanta.
That's a whole different animal.
That is like a dream come true. Like, I mean, nothing compares to, your team after, you've been a fan for them basically your entire life, as long as you can remember. And then they make it to the World Series. And it's just like, for the first time in your lifetime, and experiencing that, I mean, ooh. I mean, honestly, I've been to 2 playoff games in my life. And it was 2019 NLDS Game 1, and then 2021 NLDS Game 4. And those 2 atmospheres were fantastic. And honestly, I like playoff atmospheres are always good. And if you haven't been to a playoff game in your life, do it. Like, it is worth it every penny.
Oh yeah.
But if you were watching Game 6 of the National League Division or Championship Series here in Atlanta, that atmosphere was the best I think I've ever seen, and at a Braves game ever. I have never seen
I've never. I mean, you hear on the TV how loud that place was, and then on the videos on social media, you can just hear the final out how
like honestly, like, I didn't realize this until I played it last episode. That final out, like, I know this because I work, like, I've done broadcast stuff in the past, and I know, like, how, like, behind the scenes they control, like, the announcer volume levels. Like, you could tell, like Brian Anderson and the other announcers were, like, turned down a little bit, like, for that final out. And just how crazy that place went.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't realize how quiet Brian Anderson was when I was watching it until, like, I played it for the episode. I was just like, Brian Anderson, like, you can, like, he's a lot quieter than like other clips from that game.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just tell, like, even from the broadcast, like, you could just tell, like, that atmosphere is just something special. So,
yep.
Go to just, if you can get World Series tickets, get them. You will not regret this. I mean, I've never been able to watch a Braves playoff game, but it's been 22 years. Braves fans are going to be unbelievably wild and crazy. The battery, I could imagine the battery.
It's gonna be a zoo. It's gonna be crazy.
And if you're not going to any of these games, go catch a game at the battery.
Yeah,
they have watch parties for every game. They have watch parties every single game. So, like, there's no reason not to. Like, I mean, obviously parking's probably gonna be outrageous anyways, but, like, because parking's just a mess there. That's my least favorite part of the game day experience is parking, because, like, it's like
parking and then traffic leaving. Those are the 2 worst things.
Well, it depends, because I mean, the one thing is the parking lots are so spread out or whatever. So, like, it's not like Turner Field where, like, it's just like one huge lot. And, like, everyone was leaving at the same time, and it was just a nightmare because it's all just one lot basically. So at Truist Park, it's so spread out. It's a lot easier to get out of than it was at Turner Field. So that's the only positive thing about parking. Other than that, like, it's crap. I mean, like, there's one spot that I always love going to. It costs like $15-$20, I think. And it's pretty close to the stadium. It's probably like a 15-minute walk to the stadium, but it's not too bad. I'm young. I can handle that, but when I went to the postseason game 4, it went up to like $40. I was just like, what? Like, why? Yeah. It's just so stupid. I mean, like, I truly don't understand the parking situation. I understand, like, raising prices for the postseason, but it's expensive to begin with, and you're going to be walking a ton. So unless you're paying an absolute fortune, like, what are the cheapest, like, resale values, or what are the resale numbers going for parking passes for the World Series? I'm scared.
No clue. I don't know.
I'm gonna check StubHub real quick. I'm honestly like, what is this gonna look like? So, parking passes for in Houston, starting at $59. In Atlanta on Friday, the cheapest parking pass, cheapest one is $205.
Oh my!
Saturday, $193. Sunday, $215.
Oh my!
To park your freaking car. Like, honestly, like, I know there are a few lots where you can just drive up and just pay when you get there. I hope, I sincerely hope the parking situation, it's got to improve. I mean, I don't know who controls it, but like, there needs to be parking closer, and it needs to be affordable for most people. Like, it not just like the Delta deck or whatever, the one right next to the third base gate. Those parking passes are outrageous. I mean, no matter what game you go to, you could go to a freaking Sunday afternoon game and you'd be paying like $200. I mean, it's just like, it's just stupid. Like, I'd rather fake being handicapped. I'd rather do that. That's bad. But like, honestly, how does handicap parking even work there? Honestly,
I have no clue.
That would be an interesting thing to find out. I mean, I don't know. But anyways, advantage. Who has the advantage for the World Series? Home field advantage goes to the Astros because the Astros had a better record. That's how the World Series works. So they have the advantage there. But overall, who is the better team?
Dude, this is such a hard question because like pitching wins championships, but at the same time, you need to score runs too. You score runs too. I gotta say, advantage Astros. I mean, I think the Astros have the advantage, but the Braves have defied the odds all year. So I think I really don't think it's just gonna be a cakewalk. I think the Braves are gonna, give it a run.
So in my opinion, I mean, you say the Astros have the advantage. I would say the Braves. No, honestly, talent-wise, Astros probably might have the advantage there if they can all work together as a team and just like
I swear I'm a real fan together. I'm just.
But you're just trying to not be biased, which is just fine. I just think that the Braves pitching, how they held the Dodgers in three of their 4 wins against the Dodgers. They held them to only 2 runs, and that offense is unbelievably good. Even though they don't have Max Muncy and they didn't have Justin Turner for a couple games there, that offense is still unbelievably good, and the Astros offense is also unbelievably good. And I mean, I'm just like, look how the Braves pitching responded to that offense and held them, to only 2 runs in 3 of those 4 wins. And I think 4 runs in the other win, I believe, because we won 5-4. Yeah. So besides that 11 run outburst in Game 5, the Braves pitching staff did fantastic, and they did great against the Brewers too. So if the Braves pitching staff can do that against the Dodgers, why can't they do that against the Astros offense? I mean, I think that the momentum the Braves pitching staff has right now, and if you have Morton or Fried or Anderson on the mound, you just need 4 or 5 runs, and you have a great chance of winning. It's crazy to think about the Braves possibly having an advantage here, but I honestly truly believe that with the Braves pitching staff, how they're pitching in the postseason this year, that if we could just make pitches when we need to, like we have been doing, if the Braves offense can, if Eddie Rosario can even be half the player he was in the championship series, and Ozzy and Duvall and Dansby can get going a little bit, we're in great shape.
I agree. I think there's.
So yeah,
I think
and
it's gonna be.
Darno,
I think it's
Darno as
gonna be a
well.
really fun series. I'm excited for it.
Hmm.
But what I want to know. What do you think? What's your prediction? What is your prediction? I want to hear it.
So
I got mine.
What I want to see is Braves in either 4 or 5 because I want to see. Could you imagine the Braves winning the World Series at home?
That would
But
be. Nice.
Realistically, I would say Braves in 6.
I think Braves in 7.
But you just said that they said the Astros have the advantage.
I think they do have the advantage, but I think Braves in 7.
Okay.
I think advantage. I think they have the advantage. That doesn't mean I think they will win.
I don't know. I mean, if I were to pick one game I would want to go to this series, it would be Game 5, our last home game of the season, no matter what. Unless one of these teams sweeps, which I mean that would be great if it would be Braves. But if we got swept by the Astros in the World Series, that would absolutely suck. But I mean, if we just lost the Astros, it would suck. But if we're able to imagine how crazy Truist Park and the Battery would be if the Braves were to win it all. I honestly could not imagine. And if we had home field advantage, if we had just had a better first half, we could have home field advantage and be home Game 6 and 7. But it didn't work out that way. But it's still possible. We might be able to clinch it or win the World Series at home. But we could also lose the World Series at home. So I mean, it's just it's going to be an interesting series. A lot of storylines to go on. Dusty Baker, becoming the second manager in history, or the third or I don't know, second, third, or fourth manager in baseball history to win a pennant with both leagues. I mean, a bunch of stuff to follow along with. But yeah, you got anything else to add?
No. Go Braves.
Go Braves. It still is just hard to believe that we've made it this far. I mean, it's tremendous. Yesterday, when I was watching the game, it was great. Honestly, I think we discussed this last episode. I think we both let our emotions get the best of us a bit after the game was over. We just sat down after the game and just, soaked it all in. And I still don't think we fully soaked it all in yet. So,
not at all.
Tuesday night, it's going to be a lot of fun. Wednesday night, it's going to be a lot of fun. But games 3, 4, and 5 are going to be the best days of 2021 without a doubt. I mean, obviously barring Game 5 if necessary, but it'll be interesting. Go Braves. I think if Morton can get done Game 1, we got Fried and Anderson going next, and I like those chances. I like those chances with that top 3 in the rotation. And no offense to Luis Garcia and Valdez and whoever they're going to tap with Game 3, Grinky maybe. Or Keedy, I don't know. I like the top. I like the rotation better. They have postseason experience. You look at Valdez and Javier and Garcia. They don't have postseason experience.
Yeah,
Grinky does, but Morton is one of the best postseason pitchers of our generation, and Max Fried has been fantastic. Obviously struggled a bit in Game 5, but that's fine. I mean, he can bounce back, and Anderson's capable of, when his changeup is on, he could be one of the most dominant pitchers in baseball. So, it's so much to watch. And honestly, I wish we could just, I wish there were some more points to make about the series, because it's just such a huge series. Obviously it's a freaking World Series, but hopefully we didn't miss anything. But go Braves. We might try a stream during one of these games, the first 2 games in Houston.
Yeah.
I don't know. So keep an eye out for that. We'll try to work something out. But if you enjoy this episode, please go down. There's a bug in my cam. So if you want to get in contact with us, everything is in the description. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a good review on iTunes. It means a lot. Go follow us on Twitter. It's a brand new Twitter account, Talking Braves Pod. Check us out on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're going to be uploading over there from now on. Looking forward to it. So, you got anything else?
It's everything.
I think we had everything. So, before we wrap things up, I do want to end the episode on something that honestly we could have done last episode, but this is going to be the Braves radio announcing the last out of the National League Championship Series. I think this is a perfect transition into the World Series, and it just blows my mind that we made it. I still like, I can't wrap my head around it. I'm still like kind of speechless at the fact that the freaking Braves made it to the World Series. Like I've never experienced this before. Don't really know how to react. I don't know what to expect, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. So,
I am too.
So that about wraps it up. So hopefully we didn't miss anything, but I think we got everything we needed to get out of the way. So if you have time, go listen to another episode. That would also mean a lot to us as well. So thank you to Anchor as well for sponsoring this episode. Use promo code Braves News on SeatGeek to get $20 off your ticket purchase. Get those World Series tickets. Get a parking pass. Get a $300 parking pass. But anyways, until next time, my name is David Waters.
And I'm Luke Hardin.
Thank you all for listening, and we will catch you guys in episode 39, I think.
Yeah, 39.
39. Hopefully with some good news from the World Series. So go Braves, chop on, get your tickets, and be loud this weekend. So catch you guys later. See ya.
Peace, guys.
Away. There's a shot to Dansby. He slides to it. He's got it. Throws over. There is a new champion of the National League, and it is the Atlanta Braves. They have won the 2021 National League pennant, and the Atlanta Braves are going to the World Series.
Yeah.